There is a discipline that can only be born in places where warmth is a memory. A discipline forged in nights so long they swallow the horizon. A discipline that ancient Norse warriors believed could turn an ordinary person into something unbreakable. They called it the strength that grows when the world turns against you. Today, we call it the discipline born in the darkest winter. He wakes up again with that familiar heaviness, not physical. No, the body is fine. It's the mind that's cold. He opens his laptop, scrolls through his tasks, and feels the same sinking negotiation begin. Maybe later. I'm too tired. I'll start after I rest, after I think, after I feel ready. Every day becomes a quiet retreat. Not a dramatic failure, just thousands of small surrenders that go unnoticed. He tries to motivate himself. He reads quotes, watches clips, promises to change on Monday, then on the 1st, then on the next cycle of imaginary beginnings. And at night, he lies awake, wondering why he keeps betraying himself. In modern psychology, this is called avoidance behavior. But to the Norse mind, this was something far older. A sign that the person had not yet faced their winter. A life with no metaphorical cold, no adversity, no exposure to the elements that shape discipline. Because in the Norse worldview, comfort is not neutral. Comfort decays. Comfort softens. Comfort steals the edge from the blade. And the character realizes he hasn't become weak because life is hard. He has become weak because life is warm, and nothing hard is born in warmth. In old Scandinavia, winter was not a season. It was a teacher, a judge, a sculptor of identity. When the snow came, everything unnecessary disappeared. There was no room for indecision, no room for self-pity, no time to negotiate with your feelings. The snow warrior. The archetype of northern endurance did not train discipline in summer. He did not wait for clarity or motivation. He forged discipline during the cruelest nights. Because the Norse understood a brutal truth. If you can act in winter, you can act anywhere. If you can move when your breath hurts, you can move in times of comfort. If you can stay committed when everything in you wishes to stop, then your discipline is real, not conditional. The ancient system was simple. Expose yourself to difficulty deliberately until difficulty becomes natural. This was not masochism. It was preparation. A warrior who trained only in ease would break in the cold. A mind that practices comfort collapses in adversity. Discipline, in the Norse sense, is not about perfection. It's about endurance. The power to continue moving forward in conditions that intimidate ordinary people. This is the philosophy the modern character is missing. He wants commitment without cold, strength without struggle, endurance without exposure. But there is no discipline forged in warmth. When he tries to change, the war begins. His biology fights him first. Evolution designed humans to conserve energy in winter, not expend it. The brain whispers, "Stop! Save yourself! Protect your warmth!" Then his psychology joins the rebellion. The voice in his mind argues logically, seductively. Today is not the best day. You should wait until you're focused. You should feel inspired first. This is the same internal sabotage our ancestors knew. The Norse had a name for it. The frost within. The part of you that freezes your progress before the world ever does. It is easier to fight an enemy outside than the one inside your chest. Ancient Norse warriors believed that the internal war is more important than any physical battle. Because if you cannot command yourself, you are not ready to command your life. And so the character learns. Discipline is not a ritual of productivity. It is a contest of identities. The tempted self, the tired self, the fearful self, the loyal self. Only one can lead. The Snow Warrior's philosophy offers a single method. Act before you feel ready. Act before the mind negotiates. Act before the warmth returns. In the North, hesitation kills. To wait for the right moment is to invite winter to decide for you. Modern psychology supports this. Behavioral studies show that when action precedes motivation, motivation increases. When you start without readiness, readiness follows. This is the opposite of what the character has believed his entire life. He thought discipline was something you felt. But in the Norse view, discipline is something you do. And only then does the feeling come. The path is brutal. You move first. Emotions adapt later. No ceremony. No countdown. No waiting for warmth. Just action in the cold. There is a rule in Northern philosophy. What you practice daily becomes your identity. What you skip becomes your weakness. The Snow Warrior's training had no gap days. Not because he was superhuman, but because a single break in winter costs too much. Skip one day, and the cold stiffens your limbs. Skip two, and your mind dulls. Skip three, and your discipline fractures entirely. Neuroscience mirrors this perfectly. Habits deteriorate exponentially, not gradually. Identity dissolves faster than it forms. Therefore, the Norse rule is simple. Small actions. Zero gaps, even on the darkest days. The character realizes he doesn't need to transform his entire life. He only needs to keep the flame alive, especially when the wind howls. Consistency in this philosophy is not routine. It is survival. Before battle, warriors made oaths. They pre-decided their actions before fear could interfere. Before travel, they prepared supplies, repaired tools, and mapped the land. Not because they expected danger, but because they respected it. In Norse culture, preparation is not pessimism. It is honor. Modern life still demands this. If you know work will drain you, prepare your environment the night before. If you know temptation will appear, remove its path. If you know stress will hit, design your identity around response instead of emotion. Ancient warriors had rituals. Modern humans need systems. This is the missing piece for the character. He reacts to life instead of preparing for it. He lets the storm arrive before gathering firewood. Pre-solutions turn chaos into clarity. They make discipline automatic. They make weakness predictable. When winter comes, the unprepared panic. The prepared endure. One morning, something changes. He wakes up to the same heaviness. But this time, he doesn't negotiate. He doesn't wait for clarity. He doesn't wait for the warmth of motivation. He simply moves. Slowly, quietly, like a warrior rising in the dark. And as he does, he feels a strange truth unfold within him. The cold is not the enemy. It is the sculptor, the sharpener, the silent ally that reveals who he truly is. He begins to see winter differently, not as a season of suffering, but as the proving ground of identity. And over the following days, small victories accumulate. Tasks done early. Work accomplished without negotiation. Habits formed not by emotion, but by action. A self that feels less fragile and more inevitable. This is the transformation Norse warriors lived for. The emergence of a person who acts even in darkness. the birth of the disciplined self, the death of the inconsistent one. This is the discipline born in the darkest winter. And once you learn to rise in the cold, you never fear the storm again.